Welcome to the Academy, a series focused on the basics of Star Wars: The Old Republic. There's many reasons why you might want to transfer servers in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Maybe you've met a friend in real life who plays Star Wars, but realized you can't play together because you don't share a server. More often though, players change servers hoping to find a more populated server with more people to play group content with. The actual act of transferring a character is very easy. Once you've prepped your character by removing all items from your legacy bank, mail, and GTN, you will need to log into your SWTOR.com account and then press on your username on the top right to get to your account page. You'll then click Character Transfer on the menu on the left, then go through the process of picking your character on your original server and then choosing your new server you want to move to. After a short wait, your character will be available on your new server. If you're considering changing servers to find more people to play with, the first thing you should do is to check the population of the fleet on your current server. The fleet population is usually a pretty good indicator of the population and health of the server. If it's really low, the server population is likely to be very low as well. A very healthy server would have over 100 players during prime time, and a server with a low population might have as low as under 10 during prime time. If you find the population of your server's fleet is under 20 a majority of the time you play, you're very likely on what is considered a dead server. A server that does not have a healthy population. The Jung Ma server and the Prophecy of the Five server are both widely considered examples of dead servers. If you're a solo player, this won't really affect your gameplay, and you might even prefer not running into other people in the open world while you quest or enjoy the story. But if you're interested in doing any group activities including PvP, Galactic Starfighter, operations, or group flashpoints, or just in general being in an active guild, I would highly recommend transferring to a new server where you will be able to find more people to play with. If you live in North America, specifically the United States, the most populated server is The Harbinger. The Harbinger has the healthiest population of all the servers in the game. Other servers you could explore are the Ebon Hawk and the Shadowlands. The Harbinger is the most populated server in the entire game. Shadowlands has a healthy population, and the Ebon Hawk also has a healthy population and is likely the most populated roleplay friendly server. Harbinger is a West Coast server, and Ebon Hawk and the Shadowlands are on the East Coast, but if you're in the United States, the difference between the two coasts shouldn't affect you too much. Players living in California or Washington can still easily play on the East Coast servers. The most populated European server is the Red Eclipse, and it's usually recommended for you to transfer there if you aren't any of the European servers and want a more populated server. If you live in Europe, it's also possible to try playing on the North American servers, but you may encounter a decrease in quality of your gameplay due to the distance between you and the actual server across the ocean, especially during group activities like operations or PvP. One important thing to keep in mind, especially if you're switching from a European to an American server, is that the time zone difference is quite large, and many guilds and groups run operations or PvP in the later afternoons after work or school. That might be after midnight in your local time zone. Even if you're switching from an East Coast server to a West Coast server, you might see this time zone difference, and it might not let you be able to play with others as much as you might like. On the East Coast, I've noticed the most frequent play times during the weekdays are between 8 p.m. EST and 11 p.m. EST. At nighttime, for example, 4 a.m. EST, the East Coast servers get very, very quiet as everyone's in bed. When trying to choose a server to transfer to, you might also want to look into that server's official SWTOR.com forums and look into guilds you might like to join. Joining a guild greatly increases your chances of doing group content, especially organized operations. The worst thing you might lose is your character name. If someone on your new server already owns your character name, you will be required to change your character name if you transfer. The good news is you can now also give your character a last name, and the name generator allows you to place up to one space in your name entirely separate from your legacy name. If you have a very rare or cherished name, you might want to reconsider transferring that specific character. The best way to check and see if your character name is taken on your new server is to log into that server and make a new level 1 character with that name. If it's available, when you're ready to transfer your old character over, you can delete that level 1 character and the name will be reserved for you. When transferring, make sure all the items you want to bring with you to the new server are in your character's inventory or green bank. Anything in your character's yellow legacy bank or purple guild bank will not transfer with you. No. Any mails you have or any items on the GTN you have will be deleted. so make sure to empty those too. Sadly, when you transfer characters, you will lose any outfits you create for your characters, so if you're considering transferring, make sure to hold on to any pieces of armor. That way you can restamp those armors into your character's new outfits. If you have any strongholds that you initially purchased with credits, you will need to repay the initial unlock cost. For example, if you paid 2.5 million credits to unlock the Tatooine stronghold, you'll need to repay this amount on your new server. Luckily, once it's initially re-unlocked, you will not need to repay for any additional rooms you unlocked. They'll simply be available to you after you re-unlock your stronghold. If you paid for your stronghold's initial unlock with cartel coins, maybe you bought the expensive Yavin 4 or Tatooine with cartel coins, you won't have to repay the re-unlock for it. You do not need to pick up your decorations from your old server either. A copy of every single decoration will come with you to your new server. Unfortunately, your strongholds themselves will be empty and you'll have to redecorate all of your strongholds. When you transfer, you'll bring along everything attached to your legacy, which is really nice, including all of your legacy unlocks and achievements. A copy will be made on your new server, and if you have an existing legacy on that server already, your two legacies will be merged. If you'd rather start a new character on your new server rather than moving an old one, but you don't want to lose your legacy unlocks, you can always make a level 1 character on your old server and transfer it, bringing along your legacy, to your new server, and it'll bring everything with you, and then you can start a brand new character on that new server too. If you're considering transfer your entire guild to a new server, the move is a lot more costly, but the benefits of having a more populated server often still outweigh the costs. A guild cannot officially transfer together. Each character in the guild will need to transfer separately. You will also not be able to bring your guild bank, guild stronghold, or guild flagship with you. These will be left behind on your original server. The items in your guild bank can come with you, just make sure to empty out the guild bank before you transfer into someone's inventory who is also transferring. Guilds will really need to weigh the pros and cons of moving, which are stacked on top of the original character restrictions like the possibility of losing your character names. You could even lose your original guild name if you transfer servers and someone has already taken it, though this is pretty rare. In the case that this happens, an addendum might be added to your guild name in the form of an @ symbol and your original server name, or at least some original server. It might not even be from a server that exists anymore. If you're willing to choose a new guild name, you can easily fix this with a guild rename unlock from the cartel market. From my own personal experience, I can definitely say that moving from a less populated server to a more populated server has made a huge difference in my enjoyment of the game. A while ago, our entire guild decided to move servers, and it was a very positive experience for all of us. Many of us lost our favorite character names, including me, but we gained a lot of new friends and people to play with on the more populated server. Warzones were popping, flashpoints were popping, the fleet wasn't a ghost town, and there were people looking to join operations. It was an absolute breath of fresh air to have other players to actually play the game with, compared to the emptiness of our previous server. If you're looking to move servers, make sure to contact your friends and ask them if they're interested in moving over to a new server together. In my experience, it's almost always worth it to move over to a more populated server. Good luck with your server transfer, and don't forget to empty your mailbox, legacy bank, and GTN first. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Academy. If you want to show your support for this series, or to have new Swtorista videos show up on your YouTube homepage, subscribe to this channel.